From the day I was born that I could start remembering things. My grandfather on my mom's side um, was sexually abusing me, behind closed doors.
That's as far back as you can
Oh,
remember?
yeah, I mean, it's ingrained in my head. This is what he was, doing to me. And so this trauma that was happening, and then the physical abuse from my mom and dad, and the verbal abuse, I was a very confused child. So outside, I would hide it,
Mhm.
and I was very active and, fun and all this stuff, and became a very good golfer, and growing up to the country clubs, and the men in the locker rooms actually became the men who raised me. They taught me how to drink, they taught me how to gamble, they taught me how to play golf, and they were teaching me how to die, at the end
Mhm.
of the day. And my parents would always say, they always talked so bad about my grandfather, but yet he would come over, he would babysit, he was always around us, but we'd leave. He was a raging alcoholic, and he was a border patrol officer. My parents are from the valley, McAllen, down in the border,
Mhm.
and so he was a border patrol officer, and they always said that, and just talk bad about him. Little did they know what he was doing to me. That only was between him and I. And I mean, he would take me fishing without a fishing pole. There were no fishing poles in the car. So without all the details, it was criminal, it was wrong, and it was horrible.
How much of your childhood did that span?
It was kindergarten through fifth grade, and then he died of throat cancer from alcoholism. I used to watch him, beat my grandmother like a man. Beat her up and down to the ground.
When he died, what emotions do you remember feeling?
And that's a good question. It was, I'll never forget when he was laying there in the bed, and half his head was off from the surgery. They were transporting stuff to throat. I was forced to go in there because my mom and dad, they didn't know. I said, you come in here and see your grandfather. He wants to see you, because he was always prowling and following me. And I mean, without getting into details,
Yeah.
it was just eerie.